Grandmother's night, I woke up because something was wrong. The fire in the hut had burned out. The air was cold. The night was too quiet. No crickets, no wind, no voices, just silence. Then I heard it, a soft tapping like fingers on wood. Slow, steady, close. I turned my head toward the door. Someone was outside. Tap, tap, tap. The sound crawled up my back. It wasn't knocking, it was just tapping, like they were waiting. I looked at my brother. He was asleep, curled up under the cloth. He didn't hear it. Tap, tap, tap. I wanted to wake him, but I was too afraid to move. Then the voice came, low, scratchy, a whisper. Let me in. I froze. I knew that voice. It was grandmother's. But grandmother was dead. 2 months ago, we buried her. The whole village came. The women wailed. The men poured palm wine. The priest tied the charms around the grave. She had been old, weak, always sitting by the fire, telling stories we had all heard before. But people feared her. They never said it out loud, but I saw it in their eyes. Even my mother, her own daughter, never let us stay too long in her hut. She would send food, sit with her for a while, then call us back home before nightfall. She's an old woman, I said once. Why does everyone act strange around her? Mother's face was tight. Because old women are not always just old women. I didn't understand. Not then, but I should have known. I should have known when grandmother died and the priest's face looked troubled as they wrapped her body. I should have known when uncle whispered to mother that night, asking if the burial charms were strong enough. I should have known when, a week after she was buried, I saw my aunt burning something outside her hut, muttering under her breath. I should have known, but I didn't. Not until tonight. Not until I heard her voice at our door. Let me in. My chest felt tight. My hands felt cold. I opened my mouth, but no sound came out. Then my brother stirred. He mumbled something, half asleep, turning over. The mat rustled, and the tapping stopped. Silence, thick, heavy, waiting. I held my breath. Then, scratching, slow, dragging scratches from the top of the door to the bottom, like nails running down the wood. My skin crawled. Let me in, she said again. I shut my eyes. This was a dream. It had to be, a bad dream. But then I smelled it. Rotten, like wet earth and something dead. It slid through the cracks in the door. It curled into the hut, into my nose, into my throat. I wanted to gag, and I knew this was real. I did not move. I did not breathe. I did not answer. Then slowly the scratching stopped and the voice changed. It became softer, sweeter, almost like before. My child, she whispered, it is cold outside. I clenched my fists. My bones are tired, she said. I need to rest. Tears burned in my eyes. Open the door. I squeezed them shut. Let me in. My heart pounded so hard I thought it would wake my brother. Then she sighed, long, slow, like wind through dry grass. And then, footsteps, slow, dragging, moving away. I didn't move. I didn't sleep. I waited until the sun rose. Only then did I dare to breathe. In the morning, I told my mother. She didn't speak, didn't ask if I was sure. She just grabbed my arm and pulled me to uncle's hut. The elders gathered. They listened. Then they went to the burial ground. Grandmother's grave was open. The dirt was scattered. The charms were broken. The coffin was split. And that night, the priest burned new charms. The men dug the grave again, deeper this time. The women whispered prayers. No one looked at me. No one said it. But I felt it. She had come to me, and she would come again. The second night, I did not sleep. I lay awake, staring at the door, waiting, listening, nothing. No tapping, no voice, no scratching, just silence. And then I smelled it, rotten, wet, dead. It crept into the hut, under the door, around me. I clenched my fists. Then the mat shifted. My brother sat up. I turned to him, about to tell him to go back to sleep. And my blood turned to ice because he was not awake. His eyes were open, but they were empty. He got up, slow, stiff, like something was pulling him. And then he started walking toward the door. I grabbed him. He didn't stop. I pulled him harder. His feet dragged. His body moved like it didn't belong to him. His lips parted, and in a voice that was not his own, he said, "Let me in." My breath stopped. It was her, inside him, using him. "Let me in," he said again. I did the only thing I could. I screamed. The door burst open. My mother rushed in. Uncle was behind her. They saw my brother. They saw his empty eyes. The priest came. He had fire. The moment the flame touched my brother's skin, he gasped and he woke up. He looked around, confused. His lips trembled. "Where am I?" he whispered. Mother grabbed him, held him tight. But I saw Uncle. I saw the priest. They were not looking at him. They were looking at the door, at the dark shape standing outside, watching us. They burned the grave again. They sealed it with more charms. And then the next night, we left. Mother took us far away, to another village. She never spoke of it, never told us why. But I knew. I still hear her voice sometimes in my dreams, tapping, scratching, whispering. She is still out there, still waiting, and one day she will come back.